Okay, the Torah portion, we're speaking about Parshas Vayera. There's a very famous episode in which God tells Abraham that he's going to wipe out a city. And the interesting question is, if God's going to wipe out a city, and, Abraham argues with him. He kind of wants Abraham to kind of push back and say, you shouldn't do it. The question obviously is, why would God want Abraham to push back on that? God is obviously just. And secondly, why did Abraham think he was going to be able to change God's mind? And it's not like these people were great. In fact, that the people were terrible. And God knew that with all, credibility and clarity. And Abraham ostensibly should have at least checked, per se, to find out if the people he's arguing for is worthwhile. It's a very interesting question. It's like, if you're going to be defending the Nazis, right, well, maybe I don't want to defend the Nazis. But you see, Abraham didn't go check out, like, how everyone's doing over there. He just, basically stood up and said, you should not destroy the city, or how do I create, a reality whereby the city would be saved. So the interesting question over here, concept over here that I think is very appropriate for our lives is that God set up the world in which you have to make an effort, and the effort is not dependent on the outcome, right? There's a concept called justice. In justice, you need two sides to argue back and forth, at least someone to stand up and say, maybe there's another way of looking at it. And the crazy thing that we go through in our lives is, we define success by, was my action successful? And then that brings in this whole problem of, well, I succeeded, I didn't succeed, I'm a failure, I'm never going to try ever again. And secondly, it's like, if I can't win, then there's no point in trying. But that's the opposite. The idea is that just trying is itself a victory, and your success by you trying is not determined on whether or not you change the outcome. And if you think about that as a practical point for your daily life, you want to make big changes. I had a nice, beautiful conversation with Charlie Harari yesterday, and one thing we talked about is having this big life. But the problem with having a big life is you get freaked out by all the work you have to do. So the answer is that you just have to chunk it down and, as they say on one of my favorite podcasts, win the day. Just nail the small goals and just show up. And if you showed up and you tried, you're already successful. Thank you.